wanted to do something a little bit different today and kind of talk a little bit about why travel has been so powerful for me. And it's really been, it's one thing to learn something in the history books. You can kind of feel it, but you really aren't there. You can't just, I don't know, when you go to a place, like you learn about it in a history book or an autobiography, and then you go travel to that destination, your mind just kind of expands and you really start feeling all the stuff that went on in that region or on that day. And I want to talk about something that kind of in my personal history and in World War II history. Let's see if I can share my screen here. I guess you can't share after you start. Well, technical difficulties, I'll just turn this around until I figure out how to do it the normal way. So this is from my history in the Kalavita region in Greece, which is the southern section in Peloponnesus. My father was named after a gentleman, I believe he was his uncle, or great uncle, where the Germans had invaded, and there was a massacre during World War II, where the 117th Jaeger Division had rounded up all of the citizens of Kalavita in retribution for the guerrilla warfare that was going on during that time frame to repel the Germans. And 438 of the men and boys were taken to the top of the hill and gunned down in front of the town. Magically, 13 of the males did survive by being underneath some of the bodies that had fallen. And then following that, the women and children were rounded up and put into one of the schools. They barred the doors and lit the school on fire to kill the rest of the town. Luckily, there was an Austrian man who had some empathy and disobeyed orders, knowing that he would probably be executed, allowing the children and women to escape out the back. And later, that gentleman was executed for acts of treason, but it did allow the Greek population of Kalavita to persist. And these are some of the pictures that I took while I was there. This is the monument that was built to honor that event. These are the names of the people who had died that day. It's made out of concrete, and where the names are written across the various panels. You can see Kalavita in the background. And this torch is normally lit. It's quite beautiful there. It's where my father's family is from, in that region. This symbolizes the crying mothers. That was me, standing next to the Greek flag. This event happened on December 13th, 1943. And inside here is kind of an epitaph of all the names in bronze. And these are, in Greek culture, they use them as incense during the ceremonies in the Christian services. And I believe there is one for every single person that died in there. I don't know if you can see, but the name Sophianopolis is written in Greek right there. And these are the ages of the children who had died. It's a little bit more clear. Sophianopolis M, which is my father's namesake. and this is kind of describing the event. And this clock tower is permanently turned off at that point. That is the time that the massacre happened. And these are the two plaques, one in Greek and one in English. The hour of destruction left a scar on the time. The silent clock will always read. Disaster and death, blood, fire, and pain. At the exact hour when the lament began. So I hope this kind of brings a little bit more context to why travel is so important, and not only from not allowing travel or not allowing history to repeat itself, but also bringing history alive. We learn so much more from our textbooks when we can read about it and then go experience it. Our minds open, our walls come down, our preconceptions go away. Because when you actually go and meet people in a foreign country, taste their food, understand their culture, experience their culture, all those preconceptions, they start falling away, because so often we get the wrong impression by either reading something or our first impressions. And at least that's my take on it. And if you've had an experience around this, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, have a beautiful day.